they will buy your story over your product. So it's not about who has the best product. It is about who markets the absolute best.
I'm trying to give me a bag. I'm trying to give me a bag. I'm trying to give me a bag. I'm trying to give me a bag.
What's up? You are now listening to FY Fly the podcast, and I'm your host, Hassan Thomas, along with Remy, and we are here to share tools on how millennials can budget, save, invest, and understand student debt and credit to achieve financial freedom. If you're a high school student, college student, or someone who's interested in gaining more financial insight, this podcast is for you.
I'm trying to give me a bag. I'm trying to give me a bag. I'm trying to give me a bag. I'm trying to...
What's up, my fly folks out there? How y'all doing? I hope y'all doing all right. Welcome to the FY Fly podcast. My name is Hassan Thomas, aka the kid that did and the man that can, baby. And today we are chopping it up with the serial entrepreneur, Miss Kris Holt. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So happy to have you here.
Yes, thanks for having me.
For sure, because we really want to make sure that we dive into entrepreneurship heavily today, because that's such a strong topic for us. And then, so we're going to focus on a little bit on entrepreneurship, and then we're going to tap into like the money management needed to become a successful entrepreneur. And this is FY Fly, so we like to skip the fluff and get right into the good stuff, baby. So like, let us know, when did you realize that you were successful? Like, what does success look like? Like, what should we be aiming for?
The funny thing is that I don't look at myself as that yet. I think a lot of folks look at me as that. I think that by like numbers and like by the actual statistics of what it means to be in the top 10%, I am that and have been that since 23. I think that's when I realized, I'm by the world standards of success, but in my mind, I have a long way to go before I reach that point.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think is that point? So I'm hearing that it's not a numerical number. Is it a lifestyle? Is it a time freedom? Like, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, so it's a combination of all of those, and we all have the things that mean the most to us. Yeah. So mine is a combination of an actual number and like that lifestyle. Okay. So considering yourself and some of the other entrepreneurs that you've been around, what are some of the characteristics that you've seen? Because I know that success leaves clues. You know what I mean? What are some of those characteristics that you've seen from successful entrepreneurs? And if some of my listeners lack those characteristics, how do we work on those characteristics to become, more valuable and self-improve? Right. That's a great question. It is the most simple answer, and that is self-discipline. That is consistency, and that is limited self-belief. Those like that is having a high self-belief, right? Yeah. So one, being self-disciplined is the world. When you are running your own show, you have to have a routine that you stick with. And like, we always expect for other people to do things when they say, hey, I will do this, but we don't give ourselves that like that same amount of pressure, right?
That same amount of strictness. So, like, hey, you said you was gonna do it, so follow through with your word, just like you expect someone else. Right? Understand?
Yes. So like that is a key. Being consistent is a key. Like you and I both talked about offline, the death of Kevin Samuels. And like one thing that we can say, he was a very controversial character, but his consistency was crazy. He is a 50-something-year-old man who ran circles around us in terms of consistency on his platform,
100%.
And that made a world of difference. And three, self-belief. There's a lot of subconscious things that we believe about ourselves through like childhood that if we don't break through that, we don't even believe that like 10K per month is possible. Yeah. That like
we've never seen it.
Because you've never seen it, right? And so how you position yourself to align better with those characteristics are being around folks who are actually doing it. Like I'm in rooms with with like people
Yeah.
who have $100,000 days,
Yeah.
$100,000 months, $1 million days.
Mm-hmm.
And so being around them, that lets me know, oh, it actually is possible.
For sure.
So those are some things that you can do is get around those type of people.
And I think one of those quotes is exposure leads to expansion. You know what I mean? So if you're not able to see or be around those things, then it's really hard for you to believe that you can achieve those things. And that's why when I'm talking to like young folks, I'm so happy that we're in this generation, that we're around and surrounded by so many resources, because, 20, 30 years ago, you can't hop on YouTube and watch this to get this type of game. You can't hop on YouTube to learn how to, do whatever you want. You had to go read an encyclopedia or something. You had to go do something like that. You know what I'm saying? So for the people who aren't able to get into these rooms, there's still other options like changing your surroundings, changing what you're looking at, stop spending 10 hours on Netflix and spend 5 hours on Netflix and 5 hours self-developing and studying on YouTube. That is a free resource. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So people may be like, well, I don't have money to be in these rooms. Or I don't have this to be YouTube. You could YouTube, what they call it, YouTube University.
Right. Yeah, right. And like, but there's also an ample opportunity for you to change the algorithm on both Instagram and TikTok, right? And like, so based off of what you consume on these platforms, day after day, that is what is marketed back to you.
100%.
So like, if you're watching fights or if you're watching ratchetness, or if you're watching things that are not high vibrational, start watching things that are, and you can literally change what is in your feed.
Yeah, because we have like so many young listeners tuning in, and because we are in school or just graduated, not too long ago, we have a negative connotation for the word study. We don't like that word study. So can you touch on the importance of studying your competition, studying your specific business market and niche? Like, touch on that for us.
Yeah, there is a quote that says that education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. Whew. We have to start educating we need to learn more about our craft. Like everything 100%. Everything that like you will become, you will not hear about any of that in school at all. You have to do your due diligence to read, to self-educate. There's a platform called Udemy.com. It's UDEMY.com. And they have a course on literally everything for like $12. And you can learn everything you need just like on your own, because school is only going to teach you how to work for someone else. It will never teach every single thing that like you need to know to run a business for yourself.
And I think just switching that mindset, because when we're in school, we're being forced to study, things that we don't want to learn or things that we don't want to listen to that don't interest us. But when we get into this real world, it's a positive, it's a bonus. It's actually mandatory to study your competition. It's actually meant because you can get inspired from some of the things that they're doing, and then you can put your own spin on it, and now you're rocking and rolling. But if you still have that negative connotation from school, like, I'm not studying, I'm not doing no research, like, you're going to take an L out here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I definitely feel like it's important for the young folks listening, like, study, research, because the more that you learn is the more that you earn. So definitely lock in with that. And now I really want to, pivot a little bit to the marketing side, because we have a marketing and branding expert in front of us. So let's definitely talk about that, because before COVID, like a digital online presence wasn't really necessary, but now social media marketing and branding is mandatory. Yo, are you ready to hit your next level? Do you want to increase your drive, destiny, and dollars? Well, if so, check out my new book, From College to COVID, 24 Lessons Learned During the Lockdown, where I've compiled 5 of the biggest lessons I learned going from college to COVID to starting my financial literacy empire, FY Fly. Plus, 19 lessons from your favorite entrepreneurs, entertainers, and athletes that have been featured on our show. There's literally something for everyone. So purchase your copy today at fyfly.com/from college to COVID. Let's go. So for the fly folks listening, like, what advice do you have them to start their own social media or branding business now?
Yeah, so my number one thing is build your personal brand. And the reason being is when is the last time that like you have shopped from a place and that you went to go follow them on Instagram? But when is the last time that you have followed someone based off of their personality, right? Yeah. And so build a business around your personal brand. It is social media, right? So people are drawn to actual people and like their lifestyles too. Yeah. And we also have to sell what we look like, sell our lifestyle, right? So I do like commercials and photography, but I can't sell you that if when I come up to you I don't look like that. Yeah. Right? Like we have to look like what we sell. So like if you go hard in fitness, you have to be fit. You have to look like what your customer wants to see. 100%. Right? And so build your personal brand and sell a lifestyle. They will buy your story over your product. So it's not about who has the best wage trainer. Yeah. It's actually not about like who has the best product. It is about who markets the absolute best.
So how do we strike that connection? How do is it being relatable? Is it striking somebody's emotions? Like, what's the key, in your opinion, what's the key thing to really create that, oh, I like him or I like her, I want to rock with her for a product that everybody has?
Right. So that key is you. It's being your unique individual self. And like stop faking it. Folks who are killing it in the social media game are not afraid to be themselves, because like controversy is like actually great. The goal is to kind of stir up that pot, right? Like,
I got a good question for you.
I
so where's the balance between, because in business, when you put something out and you see that it's not working, you have to pivot to something that's working. Where is the balance for a personal brand when you're being yourself for 2 years, 3 years, and it's still not catching on? Like, what do we do at that point?
So that's a multifaceted question. Yeah. So if you have a great personality, you may not just be funneling your customers right. And so systems. That would pose the question of what does your website look like? What what does your product look like? And then we also have to be realistic with ourselves too. And for those of us who like to say, I've been going hard for 2 years. Yeah. Well, in 2 years, if all you've done is 10 pieces of content, then you haven't really been going hard. Yeah. So we also have to be realistic with that as well.
And I think one thing that was huge that you said was looking at the entire, okay, maybe you're going hard, your personality is great, your social media is great, but your systems aren't there. So looking at the entire view, and then maybe reaching out for, business coaching or some type of coaching, because you don't know what you don't know. So obviously if you're going hard, you're going crazy for 2-3 years and nothing's popping. Right. You need to be honest with yourself, like you said, and realize, okay, I need some help. Because what I be telling people, I played football my whole life and I've had coaches my whole life. Why wouldn't I have a business coach? And I'm in business now. Yeah. You know what I mean? So absolutely. So I'll be telling folks that all the time. So I want to get your opinion on what are some of the biggest mistakes that you see when you go onto social media, considering marketing and from your social media aspect? What are some of the biggest mistakes?
The biggest mistakes is consistency. One. The second one is not having a real solution to someone's problem. And I think that that's the biggest thing in business. Like, you think that your skincare line is great, but like, what does your customer think?
For sure.
Like what do they actually think? And like, so we have to come at it from a vantage point where, like, your mom is always going to think that what you put out there is like the absolute best, right? But like for the folks who don't know you, you need to get in their ear and be like, hey, like, so what did not work for you? Right. Yeah. That, and then 3, not having enough testimonials too. There is a lot of scamming going on. You cannot afford to not have video testimonials of folks that have like bought and like tried your services. Like, you can't afford to not have that. Yeah. Cause like that is the number one thing that builds trust.
No, that's major. And I agree with you 100% on those testimonials. Yep. Like, I just had my first speaking engagement at Elizabeth City State University, and nice. I appreciate it. And we actually had them give testimonials and answer trivia questions. And it was just so amazing to see them that they were actually listening. You know what I'm saying? They're actually picking up the information, and I'm bringing that up to say that rounds that back up to that value piece and being able to provide value and have a real solution for your customer. So that's what we're working on here is packaging up, because with this app, that's going to be a product, but I want the app, and then I also want like a physical, something tangible that they can hold, like a budgeting planner or something like that. So that's what I'm over here thinking about. You know, I'm always thinking about going for improving the business. So I'm thinking about some physical, tangible things that can, you know, solve my customers' issues as well. So that's an amazing point that you brought up. But, you know, one real big topic, you know, now, especially for a lot of young folks, is, you know, sticking with one dream and like staying down for the come up compared to bouncing around to different, trying different passions. Like, what's your thoughts on that?
So my thought on that is, I believe intrinsically that that your personality, God has put something in you that allows for you to get paid off of your personality. So the things that come naturally to you and the gifts that God gave you, that is the path that you should follow. There is an assessment called the DISC assessment, DISC, that is a personality test. And when you take that personality test, you get like 110 pages back that like reinforce your strengths and both shines a light on your weaknesses. And so when you study yourself and when you know yourself, you learn which roles in life you thrive in, then which ones which ones you just naturally don't. Like, I am a high D that is on that list. And so I'm not good with supportive roles. So roles that are very like highly detailed, I fail at every time. I'm not going to pursue a path in life that I'm naturally in conflict with.
Shout out that self-awareness.
So you have to learn. Right. You have to learn who you are and then pursue things based off of that. And that is a major key, because there is a reason why like certain things click with you then others don't. And so you need to learn like where do you thrive best in, and then go hard there.
Okay, I like that. So basically wrapping that up, basically trying different passions, seeing, like you said, seeing what comes natural to you. If that comes natural, hey, let's stay down for the come up and take this thing to the top and see where you're going to be in 5 to 10 years of staying consistent. Staying consistent, because that's what's truly going to bring you those big results. Like you in this thing 1-2 years and not seeing nothing. A lot of businesses aren't even profitable to the second or third year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's definitely a long-term play, definitely something that you're going to have to stay dedicated to. And that's why I believe you said, find something that's natural to you, find something that you're passionate about, because it's going to take some time. You know?
Right.
It's going to take some time. So definitely find something you're passionate about and lock in and get on that grind.
Right.
So when I was doing my research on you, I saw a post on your IG that said, people who have 9-to-5 jobs are in the perfect place to start their own business. Can you elaborate on that for us?
Yeah. So I'm like a natural fight or flight person.
Yeah.
So I will max out everything and just bet on myself each time. But most people are not like that.
Yeah.
And like so you know how much is coming in each month. And so because you know that, then that's when you see like what your costs are for like whatever you want to start. Yeah. Right. And like, so like y'all are in the best position to like hire VAs, to source product and like to get inventory, because you already know what is actually just coming in. And then while doing that, you actually still know that like your bills are going to be paid.
Okay.
So that's kind of what I meant by it.
Okay. So break down them two business terms that you threw out that people may not know: hire VAs and source product. What does that mean for the entrepreneurs listening?
Yeah, so like my VA is like my second husband, right? Like I need my VA. Okay, so VA,
and that's virtual assistant, right?
So like, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, like just how I pointed to, hey, I'm not the most detailed person. Yeah. That like VA, he makes sure that like the just like the internal things that I need done, like he makes sure that all of that is taken care of. And they're actually cheap too. They aren't that much. So definitely get a virtual assistant. And then what was your question about the second thing?
I want to ask you about that virtual assistant real quick. So what is the personal time? Well, when was the personal time for you? Like, okay, it's time for me to hire out and hire a virtual assistant to come help the business, because we have a lot of entrepreneurs listening. Most of them are solo entrepreneurs because we're so young.
Right.
So when is the time to hire out?
So I think that straight out is the perfect time. We have this thing in like Black culture particularly where we find pride in being a one-man show. Yeah, and struggling. Right. And like and then like when like you look at our counterparts like whites and like Asians, their goal is to run a business, not be an entrepreneur. So like when you're at Walmart, the CEO at Walmart is not checking you out. He's actually like in his role. And so we have to learn how to delegate tasks and like, it's better that we do that outright instead of having an influx of customers and not giving them that top tier experience because we have no help.
Makes sense.
So I believe like day one, get a VA.
Okay, that makes sense. And going back to, because we were talking about quotes, this is FY Fly. And I saw that one quote said that you can't penny pinch your way to millions. And I agree with that 100%. So I want to hear your thoughts on that, and then I'll give you mine.
Yeah. So my thing is like, we will invest in shoes, invest in everything else.
Vacations.
But right, all of that. But like we want to pay $200 and then get like this world of results. And like that's not how life works. You have got to invest just freely and without number or range. You can't be afraid to take big risk.
I feel you 100%.
That's what I personally.
Because even with LeBron, LeBron, it came out a couple years ago that LeBron spends $50 million on his body a year. And everybody was like, that's crazy, that's crazy, that's crazy. But when you think about it, his body makes 350,000 or 350 million a year, or whatever salary he's making. So his body is an asset.
Exactly.
And then once people start having that mindset shift and realize that we are the asset. So if you put money into an asset, the definition of an asset is something that rises in appreciation or rises in value. So whenever we put that money into us, if we're putting it in the right direction, if we're aligning it with our goals and our dreams, it's gonna benefit us. Let's run it back. Let's role play a little bit. So let's say you're just graduating college or high school. What would be your next money move in this current climate, in this current market that we're in now? What would be your next money move if you were just graduating high school or college?
My next money move would be, I would assess what the future is. And the future right now is VR, is AR, it's the metaverse. My husband's bank, they paid somebody like $25,000 just like to build their headquarters in a virtual world. Wow. So my next money move would be to invest in crypto, and to learn a highly paid skill set in the metaverse. Okay. That's what I would do. And that sounds weird, but that's what I would do.
And I think, for a lot of people that have negative opinions about the metaverse and things like that, they're like, I don't care about that, or I don't care, or that doesn't matter to me. I understand it doesn't matter to you as one single person, but that is a $3.5 billion industry. So obviously it matters to somebody. So I need all of us to get out of that mindset. Like, bro, you are one person on this world. You know what I'm saying? You not right nothing. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead.
And plus that is the equivalent to what Bitcoin was. So it's like Bitcoin, I believe, was like the price of a slice of pizza when I was like, I think 11 or 12. Yeah. And had I invested in Bitcoin, now I would be a multimillionaire. Literally. So it's not about what like you think is best. Like history has shown that like when you get on the early ground of Bitcoin, the early ground of YouTube, the Amazon, early Facebook, ground of like Instagram, the early like you have to get on the early ground, and so the metaverse will like is the next Facebook, is like the next Instagram, is all of that. And so you've got to get over it and like see see how you can be involved.
Because if it makes money, it makes sense, baby. Come on now. Absolutely. But I really think what sealed the deal for me with the metaverse and crypto and all those things is when I saw that big corporations and big government associations are coming together. Change really happens when, all of us minorities get together and we're fighting for one topic. That's when change really happens. But when you have big governments and big businesses come together, that's all you need. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's all you, who will stop them?
Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. You're absolute. Yeah.
So I have one more question for you. I want to read you two quotes, and I want you to tell us which quote is more accurate in your opinion. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So the first quote is "More money, more problems," like Biggie, and the second quote is "Money can't buy happiness." Which one is more accurate in your opinion?
Oh, more accurate?
Yeah.
I'd say more money, more problems.
Ooh, okay. Why is that?
Because more money comes with more people with like their hand out. More money kind of comes with more problems. But I only say that because I don't believe that money can't buy happiness. I like believe that money can buy the things that make you happy. And if like you're a good person, you're going to attract good people. So I've never believed that money can't buy happy. No, money can definitely buy you things that make you happy. So the more money, more problems thing is just more realistic. in terms of like more money comes with more responsibility to like do certain things that if they don't go right, you have to give more money to fix that problem.
Yeah, for sure. You got bigger risk, but you got bigger reward type job.
Exactly. Right.
Makes sense, man. Thank you so much for joining the show today. You killed it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I would like for you to leave my audience with any final words, one final gem, and also let them know where to reach you. Go ahead.
Okay. My final gem would be, a lot of folks have hesitation with coming on social media because they have things that like they fear they will be like criticized for.
Yeah.
I was born with a speech impediment, so I stutter a lot. But that thing that I'm afraid to put out there is also the very thing that draws that draws my crowd to me.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so whatever you're afraid to put out, just put it out there. Because there are folks who like come to me crying, saying like, oh, like I have a list, or like I have Tourette's, and like that's why I'm like scared to put myself out there. But like seeing you has helped me.
Mm-hmm.
And so whatever it is that like you're afraid to like put out there, know that it's always bigger than you. Know that folks are watching you, like they're waiting for someone who has the same quote unquote problem to attack it fearlessly, and like that person can be you. So that's that. And then you can follow me on Instagram at the Kris Holt, TheKrisHolt, and you can go to my website, KrisIsit.com.
Love it. Thank you so much again. You killed it.
All right. Thanks for having me.
For sure. And thank y'all for listening to the show. Be sure to drop in back with us next week for another FinLit Friday. And I need everyone to stay safe, stay invested, and stay FY Fly. See y'all next week.
Thank you all for listening to FY Fly, the podcast, and we hope you enjoyed the show. Tune in next week for more financial literacy insights with our special guest. Please visit our website, social media platforms, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at FYI Fly Podcast. That's FYI FLI Podcast. See y'all next week and stay fly.